Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about land degradation. So, before anything else, we'll have to tackle first what is the function or purpose of land. So, land is one of the pillars in sustaining life in the ecosystem. It is also a vital resource to humankind, like air and water. So there are many things that we can obtain from the benefits that land has to offer. So land provides us buildings, homes for shelters, fields to plant our crops, and also land provides us beautiful sceneries. So then, next would be we are going to tackle the meaning of land degradation. So, land degradation is the deterioration or loss of the productive capacity of the soils for present and future. It is a global challenge that affects everyone through food insecurities, higher food prices, climate change, environmental hazards, and the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem services. Land degradation is happening at an alarming pace, contributing to a dramatic decline in the productivity of croplands and rangelands worldwide. So next, we're going to tackle what are the causative factors or the factors that helps the process of land degradation. So as the saying of Joel Salatin goes, land degradation did not start with chemical agriculture, but chemical agriculture offered new tools for annihilation. So what does this mean? So let us revert back on what are the basic components in chemical agriculture. So as we all know, our world is progressing on a rapid pace, especially in the agriculture industry. So in order to provide a much more or a large number of food to sustain a large number of population for us humans, so scientists have come up with an idea to use chemicals such as pesticides to help the agriculture industry to provide a more rapid production of food, such as crops and other materials that can sustain food on the table for us humans. So pesticides and other chemicals used on crop plants have helped farmers to increase yields. So just like everything else, in every invention there is always a margin of error. So scientists have found that overuse of some of these chemicals changes the soil composition and disrupts the balance of microorganisms in the soil. This stimulates the growth of harmful bacteria at the expense of beneficial kind. But based on Joel Salatin, land degradation was not started by chemical agriculture. So this means that land degradation was practiced back then on the first time where humans have cultivated the wonderful prowess in which land has to offer.
Land degradation is one of the world's most pressing environmental problems, and it will worsen without rapid remedial action. Globally, about 25% of the total land area has been degraded. So when land is degraded, soil carbon and nitrous oxide is released into the atmosphere, making land degradation one of the most important contributors to climate change. Scientists recently warned that 24 billion tons of fertile soil was being lost per year, largely due to unsustainable agriculture practices. So if this trend continues, 95% of the Earth's land areas could become degraded by 2050.
Globally, 3.2 billion people are affected by land degradation, especially rural communities and the very poor. The world population is projected to increase by about 35% to 9.7 billion in 2050, with rising demands for agricultural products including food, feed, fiber, and fuel. However, pressure on the global land resource is increasing due to the factors as well, such as agricultural production systems made less resilient by the loss of biodiversity and natural factors such as climate variability and extreme weather events. Climate change exacerbates a variation in yields and income from agriculture, threatening the resilience of agroecosystems and stability of food production systems.
So the problems are particularly severe in the driest part of the planet. Dry landscapes cover approximately 40% of the world area, or the world land area rather, and support 2 billion people. The vast majority of the people who depended on dry land lived in developing countries, where women and children are most vulnerable to the impacts of land degradation and drought.
What do we do in battling land degradation? So firstly, the Global Environment Facilities, also known as the GEF, recognizes that all productive landscapes from the drylands of Africa and Asia to the subtropical grasslands of South America and temperate forests in Europe must be managed carefully and sustainably. Our investments to arrest and reverse desertification and deforestation cover a wide range of sectors, from crop and livestock production to water resource management. The Global Environment Facilities also is the financial mechanism for the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, or the UNCCD, and has a mandate to invest in global environmental benefits from production landscapes. The Conference of the Parties to the UNCCD recognizes land degradation neutrality, or the LDN, as a concept that can help communities, businesses, and governments reconcile to the need to intensify food production without degrading land resources. Essentially, LDN is about managing land more sustainably to reduce degradation, while increasing rates of land restoration. So the two ends converge to give a zero net rate of land degradation. So the results of the GEF. So after the intervention of GEF, there are $1.069 billion, and there are 190 projects and programs that encourage use of sustainable land management practices, or the SLM, to support national and regional development priorities. Also, there is 143 million hectares Sustainable Rural Development Program, or the SLF, and 80 million smallholders, as well as biodiversity and climate change by generating multiple benefits. So these are the results during 2006. The global crisis, the results of the intervention of the GEF in the global crisis. So in Burkina Faso, several multilateral partners finance the Sustainable Rural Development Program implemented by IFAD in the North Central Plateau. So moving on to the global crisis results in implementing the GEF. So first, in Burkina Faso, several multilateral partners financed the Sustainable Rural Development Program implemented by the IFAD in the North Central Plateau. Also, 109 cases of access to land, services, and infrastructures were sold. Another is 26,000 producers were given sustainable access to land for cultivation and market gardens, 67% of beneficiaries being women. And lastly, 64,000 hectares of lands. And then another fact is that 100% of the donation today to the GAF will go to providing access to safe drinking water in San Gabriel. So that is all for our report for today, and I hope that you have learned something. Thank you and have a good day.